In 2012, a fake R.I.P. Morgan Freeman post went viral on Facebook. It spread to millions before Freeman himself had to post "I'm alive and well" to stop it. The source was a fake news site designed to look like a real news outlet. This wasn't an isolated incident. It happens constantly with different celebrities, different platforms, but the pattern is always the same. Something triggers emotion, spreads fast, and nobody checks until after the damage is done. Here's the thing. You probably did something similar this week. When was the last time you shared something without reading past the headline? We all do. And it's getting worse. The average person now consumes 34 gigabytes of information every day. That's like reading a full novel's worth of content, except it's not a novel, it's chaos. Headlines, tweets, videos, hot takes. Someone in the 15th century encountered this much information in their entire lifetime. You're getting it before breakfast. And yet AI-generated nonsense goes viral because it sounds confident. TikTok trends convince teenagers to drink borax as a health remedy. Millions of people formed strong opinions based on headlines they never bothered to read. Critical thinking isn't dying by accident, it's being killed. Systematically. Profitably. The platforms you use every day don't reward thoughtful analysis. They reward the fastest emotional reaction. And we've all become participants in this cognitive race to the bottom. So how did we get here? How did the species that landed on the moon become vulnerable to ideas that a 10th grader could debunk in 30 seconds? Humans never evolved to think deeply. We evolved to survive. Your brain is a prediction machine optimized for split-second decisions. Is that rustling in the bushes a predator? You don't deliberate, you react. That instinct kept our ancestors alive. Today, it's making us vulnerable in ways we never anticipated. Because here's the problem. You now check your phone 96 times per day. That's once every 10 minutes you're awake. Each time, you're making split-second judgments about what's true, what matters, what to believe. Your Stone Age brain is being asked to evaluate complex geopolitical situations, medical claims, economic policies, and scientific evidence at a pace it was never designed for. It can't keep up, so it takes shortcuts. Here's the uncomfortable truth that most people don't want to hear. We don't actually seek truth. We seek comfort. We want beliefs that feel good, that confirm what we already think, that don't require us to question ourselves. This isn't a character flaw. It's human nature. But it's being exploited at a scale we've never seen before. The instinct to follow the crowd, to go with the herd, to accept what everyone else accepts. This has always been part of human psychology. Safety in numbers made sense when predators were hunting us. Today, that same instinct operates at internet speed, amplified by algorithms designed to maximize conformity. Watch what happens online. Someone sees a headline and instantly forms an opinion without reading the article. Done, filed away, next scroll. Online mobs attack people based on 5-second clips ripped from context. No investigation. Just instant judgment. We've made analytical thinking optional because deep thinking is exhausting. It requires focus, patience, and the willingness to discover you've been wrong. Instant emotional reactions are easy. Satisfying. So that's what we default to over and over, until critical thinking becomes something we vaguely remember but no longer practice. Let me show you the specific psychological patterns that make mass stupidity inevitable in our current environment. The first trap is information overload meeting mental laziness. Your brain has a processing limit. During COVID-19, people were hit with contradictory information from every direction. At the peak, over 2,000 articles about COVID were published every single week. Most weren't even real research, just opinions dressed up as science. No human could keep up. Most people couldn't tell real doctors from influencers selling miracle cures. Here's where it gets worse. Your brain conserves energy. It prefers shortcuts over deep thinking. Psychologists call this cognitive miser theory, but really it just means your brain is lazy by design. Given the choice between a 30-second TikTok and a 10-minute analysis, most people choose TikTok. Not because they're stupid, but because deep thinking is exhausting. The sheer volume of information combined with our preference for convenience creates the perfect storm. Accuracy becomes irrelevant. Speed wins. The second trap is the Dunning-Kruger effect. This might be the defining phenomenon of social media. The less someone knows, the more certain they become. People with minimal knowledge drastically overestimate their expertise. Meanwhile, actual experts express doubt and nuance because they understand how complex things really are. But doubt doesn't go viral. Confidence does, so the least qualified voices become the loudest. The third trap combines the illusion of explanatory depth with emotional reasoning. Right now, pause and try to explain how a zipper works, in detail, or a toilet, or your own political beliefs on any complex issue. Can't do it? That's the illusion of explanatory depth. We wildly overestimate how much we understand. We think we know how things work because we can use them, or because we've heard them discussed, but our knowledge is surface level at best, and once we think we understand something, we attach emotions to it. The Flat Earth movement proves this perfectly. No amount of scientific evidence matters because believers have an emotional attachment to the idea. It makes them feel special, like they've discovered truth that others are too blind to see. We believe things not because evidence supports them, but because they feel right. And once identity gets attached to a belief, truth becomes negotiable. The fourth trap is social identity over truth. People will deny obvious facts if accepting those facts threatens their sense of belonging to a group. Political tribalism has reached the point where people defend politicians with sports fan loyalty, even when those politicians are caught in obvious lies. Admitting you were wrong feels like betraying your team, so you double down, no matter how absurd the position becomes. These four traps have always existed in human psychology. What's new is that modern systems have learned to exploit them with surgical precision. These psychological vulnerabilities have always existed. What's changed is that modern systems have learned to exploit them for profit. Social media algorithms have discovered something powerful. Outrage keeps people scrolling longer than balanced content. More scrolling means more ad revenue. So the algorithm doesn't optimize for truth. It optimizes for whatever keeps your attention. MIT researchers found that false news spreads 6 times faster than real news online. The reason is simple. False news is engineered to be more emotionally charged, more surprising, more shareable. The platforms know this. The architecture actively rewards misinformation. Think about what this means. There are people who figured out that teaching you to sound right is more profitable than teaching you to be right. The business model is built on confident ignorance, and we've all become paying customers. Our education systems are complicit too. Schools train students to memorize answers for standardized tests, not to think critically about underlying concepts. The goal isn't to develop people who question and explore. It's to produce students who can regurgitate the right answers quickly. Teachers often discourage questions because they slow down the curriculum. There's material to cover, dates to hit. Genuine curiosity becomes an inconvenience. We're raising a generation trained to accept information without analysis. Modern politics has devolved into soundbite battles. Build the wall, drain the swamp. These phrases mean nothing concrete, but they feel powerful. Political debates aren't about presenting the best argument, they're about delivering the most viral moment. Substance has been replaced by performance. The influencer industrial complex accelerates all of this. People take financial advice from influencers posing with rented Lamborghinis. Fitness guidance from people whose only qualification is looking good on camera. Medical information from confident voices with zero credentials. These influencers use what psychologists call Barnum statements, vague, universally applicable advice that feels eerily personal. You've been through a lot lately, but your resilience is your superpower. That could apply to anyone, but it feels like it was written specifically for you. It's the same technique fortune tellers use, now weaponized for engagement. We've prioritized entertainment over knowledge in every domain. The average person can name more Kardashians than Supreme Court justices. They follow influencer drama more closely than policy changes that directly affect their lives. News channels figured this out and turned everything into entertainment. They don't inform, they perform. Politics becomes reality TV. Global crises become dramatic narratives with heroes and villains. Thinking is hard. Entertainment is easy. When an entire society stops thinking critically, consequences compound. They start small, then cascade into something much darker. First, nuance dies. Online discourse becomes completely binary, for or against, good or evil, us versus them. If you don't fully agree with someone, you're instantly labeled an enemy. The middle ground vanishes, partial agreement becomes impossible. Complex problems that require nuanced solutions get flattened into tribal warfare. Next, expertise gets devalued. Climate scientists who spent decades studying atmospheric physics get dismissed by people whose research consisted of watching 3 YouTube videos. Meanwhile, influencers discussing climate change get exponentially more views than the actual scientists. We've created an environment where expertise isn't just undervalued, it's actively suspicious. People distrust specialists and prefer regular people who tell it like it is, even when those regular people are catastrophically wrong. Then conspiracy thinking goes mainstream. QAnon grew from anonymous posts on obscure forums into a global movement that influenced real-world politics. At its peak, polling showed that 17% of Americans believed in its core claims. That's roughly 56 million people. Millions genuinely believe elaborate conspiracies with zero credible evidence because the narratives feel emotionally satisfying. They provide simple explanations for complex problems. They make believers feel like insiders with special knowledge. This isn't fringe behavior anymore. It's becoming normalized. Democracy starts to break down. Elections have been influenced by emotionally charged disinformation campaigns spreading through social media like wildfire. Foreign governments and domestic bad actors figured out they don't need to convince people of anything true. They just need to make them angry enough to share without thinking. Democracy requires an informed citizenry capable of evaluating claims. What happens when that capability vanishes? Here's what history shows us. When shared truth dies, when there's no common ground for reality, people don't become free thinkers. They become more vulnerable. They latch onto whoever tells the most emotionally satisfying story, whoever makes them feel good about themselves, whoever gives simple answers to complex questions. Mass movements built on emotion rather than reason aren't new. We've seen them before. We know how they end. Finally, intellectual infrastructure collapses. Companies increasingly replace human experts with AI-generated content that looks professional but carries subtle errors. Duolingo, for example, moved to an AI-first model, cutting human translators and content creators in favor of machine-generated material. In media, news organizations hire opinion influencers instead of investigative journalists because opinions are cheaper and generate more engagement. The infrastructure of expertise itself is eroding. When instant answers come from AI and quick takes come from influencers, why invest years in deep study? The economic incentives reward shallow generalists and punish deep expertise. Here's what this means practically. In 20 years, who will maintain the complex systems our civilization depends on? Who will conduct the research? Who will teach the teachers? We're not just losing the ability to think. We're losing the people who know how. Let me show you what resistance looks like. In 2021, ivermectin misinformation exploded. Videos claiming it cured COVID went viral. People were literally buying horse dewormer. Then the pushback started. The FDA, doctors, fact-checkers, they all posted corrections with actual data. Did it work perfectly? No, but it slowed the spread. It showed that calm, evidence-based correction can work when people actually engage with it instead of scrolling past. Critical thinking can still win, but only if people choose it. Look, I'm not immune to this. Last month I caught myself in an argument about economics, confidently citing a statistic I'd seen in a headline. Someone asked me where that number came from. I had no idea. I hadn't read the article. I just saw the headline, assumed it was true because it confirmed what I already believed, and filed it away as fact. That moment embarrassed me. But it also clarified something. This isn't about being smart or dumb. It's about systems that make stupidity the default and thinking the exception. So here's what I started doing differently and what you can do too. First, break the algorithm. Turn off autoplay. That simple act stops the cycle of passive consumption. Watch better videos. Choose long-form content that explores topics in depth over viral 30-second clips designed for quick hits. The algorithm wants you on autopilot. Refuse. Second, verify before you amplify. Open the article, not just the headline. Check the studies on Google. Search the claim along with the words, fact check. If you can't do these 3 things in 30 seconds, you don't know enough to share it. Third, practice intellectual humility. This is what actual smart people do. Real experts know how much they don't know. They change their minds when presented with new evidence. They say, I don't know, when they don't know. This is the opposite of the confident ignorance that dominates social media. Fourth, seek out challenge, not comfort. Here's a specific challenge. For the next week, every day read one article from a publication you normally hate. Not to agree with it, to understand what the other side actually believes, not what your side says they believe. You'll be shocked how often you've been arguing against a straw man. If you only read things you already agree with, you're not learning, you're just rehearsing. The battle for critical thinking is ultimately a battle for your own mind. These aren't grand gestures. They're small acts of cognitive resistance that compound over time. Stupidity grows when thinking becomes rare. It thrives in environments optimized for speed and emotion over accuracy and reflection. But critical thinking survives in those who choose to slow down, question deeply, and resist the overwhelming pressure to join the herd. The question isn't whether society as a whole will get smarter. The question is whether you will, and then whether you'll help one other person do the same. Because that's how this actually changes, not through top-down reform, through small networks of people who refuse to think on autopilot, one conversation at a time. What will you choose?